Hi, I'm Edwin Costa and you're watching Brain Shift's 32 Pins. 32 Pins is a collection of Pinterest pins on hard-hitting topics that will hopefully make life suck a little bit less for all of us. And in this show, I'm gonna break it down for you. So let's jump right into it. Your parents lived in a time where they could go to college for like $600 a year for tuition at a state school, and they could manage to pay all that off with just a summer job. Why can it be like that now? Well, Sallie Mae, kind of a quasi-government organization, got privatized in 1997 and began buying up other lenders, collection agencies, loan guarantors, just getting bigger and bigger, while at the same time lobbying Congress to eliminate consumer protection on student loans. Ouch, that's like genius evil right there. Sallie Mae's stock price went up 1,700% in 10 years. Well, that's a pretty good investment, huh? What's the dirty little secret? Student loans have become a tool for spectacular enrichment for the lucky few and a tool of enslavement for the rest of us. That's not a good secret. You see, Sallie Mae loans are federally guaranteed, which means that taxpayers pay the lenders when a loan goes into default. The debt collectors then will go after the students, most of whom are having trouble finding a good paying job and can't file for bankruptcy, disability, or hardship. Wow, thanks a lot, guys.
People don't realize that the most basic fundamental consumer protections that we take for granted with every other type of loan simply don't exist for student loans.
That is Alan Collins, one of the heroes in the story of influence and power. You see, we don't totally need to freak out. There are warriors who are in our corner working hard to improve things. Check out this clip of Elizabeth Warren just totally rip into this guy.
The banks lobbied to get non-dischargeability in bankruptcy. The question I started with here is, what are people supposed to do? What is this family supposed to do that now has 3 children to take care of and $100,000 in non-dischargeable student loan debt from a child who died?
So, Senator, thank you. 2 things. There is now loan forgiveness for a student who passes away. Many of our banks are now formalizing that into their contract.
I'm sorry, you're telling me that this is now available from all banks, that there is loan forgiveness and this couple can take advantage of this loan forgiveness since their daughter died? I hadn't heard this.
That is mostly right. That is mostly right.
I don't understand what mostly right means. Is it available or not?
There are not all banks. There are many more banks that are giving loan forgiveness throughout the country.
What number is many more? More than what?
Right now,
more
Senator,
than 0?
Yes, ma'am. There are more than 0. In fact, I know of about 4, at least 4 that are doing it right now.
4 out of 7,000?
Oh man, I can practically feel the sweat from that guy's face.
You only have about 8 banks that dominate the market. So we're making progress. A lot of these banks do it by case scenario. There's nothing worse than the tragic accident that happened throughout the country.
Yes, actually, there is something worse. And that is when something like this happens and the family is left with $100,000 in debt and 3 orphans to take care of. That's worse.
And I'm hoping that bank forgives that loan.
Well, I'm hoping that bank will forgive that loan too.
Sure.
But so far, what that bank has said is no. The banks have not forgiven those loans. They have not provided adequate relief to this family, and I don't know how many other families are in those circumstances.
Then we have people like Dave Ramsey who dedicate their lives to help people make good financial decisions.
Tighten up the budget and then just make it your first goal with the tight budget to clean up whatever student loans debt is left so that you can move on. The good news is that you're used to living like a college student.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if you keep living like a college student while you start making grown-up money, you can trash that student loan debt pretty quick. You can knock it out.
I personally think it's great to use your social platform to guide people in the right direction, but that's just me. Alright, so what could you do to avoid all this mess? Well, you could not go to college, or you could study in another country.
Did you know there's a few countries you can actually go to college and they teach in English for free? Or like $200 or something. Matter of fact, there's like a year of college in France on me.
Whoa, David, just wait a second right there. You're telling me that university isn't expensive everywhere else in the world? so even if you're from the United States, you can go to some of these universities for free or at a low cost. And many of these have programs in English too. And many countries outside of the US have decided that post-secondary education should be a priority and students shouldn't have to graduate with a big ball and chain around their ankle. But maybe you're thinking, Edwin, I don't want to go to college outside of my country. I want to stay here, the land of the free. That's cool too. There are actually some really innovative ideas bubbling up right here in the US of A.
Georgia Tech, in combination with Udacity, which is a startup in this space, is now offering a master's degree in computer science for $7,000. That's an 80% discount. It's online.
$7,000 for a master's degree? I think I could do that. You could do that. Of course, you need to be smart about it. What's the student completion rate? What's the credential? Who recognizes it? Can you try out a class? I'll always read the fine print, kids. And remember, keep your eyes and ears open for people who don't have your best interests at heart. A lot of people just want your money. Who profits off of your student loans? Oh, a lot of people. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. These are the middlemen who process payments and provide other services like repayment plans and consolidation loans, which means they repackage a loan that's in default. Then they charge more for it with interest rates up to 60%. And 20% of loans go to rehabilitation. Wells Fargo, Sallie Mae, and Discover Financial. They may sound nice, but they isn't nice to your wallet. Many universities are actually investors in student loan companies like Sallie Mae, which means their endowments are making money off of your student loans. That sounds like a conflict of interest. Education system, what you doing? The financial institutions have recently been selling their portfolios to loan servicing companies like Navient and Nelnet. Oh. The nonprofit organization Public Campaign reported that in 2012, companies like Sallie Mae spent over $50 million lobbying Congress since the year 2000 and $7.7 million in campaign contributions. Woo! The Congressional Budget Office expects the Department of Education to receive $110 billion from just student loans over the next 10 years. $110 billion. The Department of Education is benefiting from students suffering because they can't pay for education. This stuff seriously needs to be fixed. There are a ton of scammers preying on students who already have huge student loans. If it's advertised on Facebook, you hear it on the radio, or you see it at the top of search results, they're paying a little extra advertising money because they know they'd be making a lot more from you. Don't let it happen to you. If they promise immediate relief, loan forgiveness, or to get you out of default, it's definitely too good to be true. Not even Santa Claus can do that, because he's not real. Some companies charge up to $1,500 when all they do is file paperwork for a direct consolidation loan, and you can do that for free. But they want to charge you $1,500. Why they want to do that? Scammers everywhere. Bottom line, if it sounds too good to be true, it just might be too good to be true. If you have an issue with your lender, chances are the complaints board already has it documented from someone else like you. Go ahead, enter the company's name in the complaints board, and you'll see. It's kind of sad to read through, actually. And watch out for paternalistic language. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. I went to college, I had loans, I paid them off. Dude, it was a different time. You were watching I Love Lucy and cars had fins. I have the internet. I'm sure there's a small exception, but do you really think that students don't care about their future, their credit? Most students are trying to do the right thing. The big story here is that the powerful are preying on the vulnerable, and they are painting student debt as a bad borrower problem, when in reality it's a bad lender problem. I mean, you're literally setting up millions of students up for failure. What kind of system is this? So what can we do? What actions can we take? If you're in college or you already have some debt, go to 32 Pence and smarten up, baby, because sometimes you gotta help yourself.
People don't realize that the most basic fundamental consumer protections that we take for granted with every other type of loan simply don't exist for student loans.
If you have a college loan, think about sharing your story.
I actually think that if a bunch of us, outed ourselves and said, I'm in $80,000 worth of debt, then somebody else would say, I'm in $45,000 worth of debt. And then we would actually realize that it's the banks, it's the private lending companies who are the only people benefiting from these programs. And all we're doing is pushing ourselves deeper and deeper into debt.
Why should you come out about your college debt? Because you control your narrative and it does not have to be shameful. By keeping quiet, we're allowing the powerful people and organizations who hold the cards to play the game to their benefit. You could also do something real simple that helps everyone. Just sign your name to this petition to restore college loan protections. You can even include a note. Here's what Ashley, Michelle, and Bridget wrote when they signed their petition. So you might be thinking, Edwin, you just gave me so much information. Can you simplify this for me, please, Edwin? Because this is a lot. Like, just what do I really need to know? Okay, ready? Here it is. Your education and financial health are important. Both of them. Don't go lazy thinking you can go to class and get all A's. You're in America. Once you pay for the university, they don't care about your grades. They already have your money. Get educated in class and your financial future. I know how it sounds. But it's important. It's your future. Go to 32 Pins and look up what does college really cost. Once you've done that, talk to someone about it. Help someone else's life suck a little bit less. I know there was a lot of information thrown at you guys in this episode, but I want to thank you guys for watching and I hope you learned something. I'm Edwin for BrainShift's 32 Pins, and make sure you check us out on Facebook and on Pinterest. Just look up the number 32 Pins. Until next time.